Good afternoon, everybody. We are live on the air, and today is Monday, October 7th, and we're in the middle of the MLB playoffs. So quickly, I made you two videos, one on the ALDS, one in the NLDS. I'll try to keep each video at about 15 minutes or so, and not much longer. Just kind of want to give a quick update what's going on. So first series right now, I'll do the ALDS first, and I'll do the NLDS as Astros Rays. So far. In the ALDS, everybody's played 2 games. Game 3s will be starting today between the Astros and the Rays, and then later tonight it will be Yankees and Twins, Game 3, Tropicana Field and Target Field. So, interesting thing about the Astros and Rays. And did I think the Astros or the Rays had any chance to beat the Astros? I did. I thought there was some chance. And really, in the series, the Astros are not completely dominating, or they are. Pitching is dominant. The Rays have managed to score just 3 runs in the entire series. But really, the storyline for the Astros is in both games, kind of in the middle of the inning, kind of in the middle of the game, kind of 4th, 5th inning. Guys like it was Tyler Glasnow in Game 1, who again was hurt through much of the year, missed about 4 months of an injury, came back and then he pitched. Since he was on the DL for much of the year, came back in the ALDS and really for both starts pitched about as many pitches and really as many innings as he had in months, about 4 months, and it appeared he was doing well. I think walked a batter. Altuve had a 2-run home run, just like that. It was 2-0 Astros, and that was it for him. He came out, so you could debate, did Kevin Cash leave him in too long, especially given the circumstances of his recent outings. He did not, and then Game 2, very similar thing happened. Bregman in Game 2 hit a 3-run, hit a solo home run off Blake Snell, 4th inning, got his pitch count right around 60. That was it for Snell. So again, you can say that he was rusty for one, or again for Snell, most of his outings he pitched 2 or 3 innings and then threw about 60 pitches. That was it. So I think that was as far really as Snell could go, and certainly as far as Kevin Cash wanted him to go if it was the regular season, or if he's completely healthy at full strength, then he could have gone even further. But that was it. He had to come out. So to sum it all up, it is clear that both pitchers are not healthy, and they threw longer and about as many pitches as they had in months. And key performers, I'm going to say Alex Bregman, who has walked twice, is going to be an MVP candidate. Is 3 for 6 with the home run, and then also hit a double in the series. So Bregman's having a good series. And then Astros starting pitching. So their starting pitchers is kind of old school. They've combined to pitch 14 2/3 innings, which nowadays that seems unthinkable. The Rays, certainly, depending on how far Morton goes today, will very unlikely be able to match the total of what the Astros did combined. And so here's the deal for the Astros. Game 1 of Justin Verlander pitched 7 innings. I thought should have gone out for 8 since Ryan Presley clearly didn't have it that day. I was critical of that decision, but they won anyways. And then Game 2, Garrett Cole, that was probably one of the best starts of his career. 15 strikeouts. Fastball, felt like it was the slider combination, even the curveball. I felt like all 4 pitches were working for him. And he had 15 strikeouts and ended up throwing a lot of pitches, 120. Kind of had a little bit of a long first inning and a long 8th inning, and couldn't quite finish 8. But still, that's exactly what the Astros needed. Really good starting pitching. And again, in that game, the Rays, they're down 2-0, but in both games they hung on. They kept fighting. It was 6-0. Verlander's out. They made things a little bit interesting. cutting it to 6-2, and then last game, the other game, they're down 3-0. I think in the ninth inning. I think that the bases loaded, and it was a 3-1 game. They almost tied it. I mean, they're just a hit away from tying it or even going ahead. And they're down 2-0 in neither one of those games. You can ask, should the Rays won either one of those games? Games 1 or Game 2? No, they shouldn't have. It wasn't they could have done this, they could have done that. They shouldn't have won both of those games. And they were expected to be. Down 0-2 against Cole and Verlander. Or almost impossible to beat. I'm not surprised they're down 2-0. Now, can they somehow win Game 3? Yes. And then Game 4, I'd say for them would be like probably a bullpen game, pure bullpen game. Then for the Astros, unnamed starter, no starters really announced at all. They can survive that. There's a Game 5 back in Houston, but really with it being Zach Greinke today, you know, I remember last year in a closeout game, Astros Indians. The Astros, just watching that game was a year ago. Ended up winning 11-1. Just completely took over that game. Took over, and that was it. So can they win the series today? I'm gonna say yes. They have a huge advantage in the series now. So for the Astros, really the storyline has been timely home runs in the middle innings against starters that were not on full strength, probably getting fairly close, if not out of energy, before they could get to a bullpen, which was before they could get to a dominant bullpen. So that's what the Astros did a good job of. And also starting pitching, dominating Cole and Verlander. Their only biggest weakness, I'd say, is that 8th inning in Game 2. They had really one bad inning. And maybe back into the bullpen, they kind of made things a little more interesting than it needed to be, especially in Game 2. But for the most part, this was the Astros game. Now, storyline for the Rays, starting pitching just 7 innings combined. Obviously, that was kind of expected. In fact, Snell and Glasnow went further than expected, especially Glasnow. And then there's bullpen. I mean, this is all about their bullpen, really. And in this game, Game 3, maybe they can do something similar to what they did against the A's. And maybe Morton's more efficient. Maybe Morton can go 6 or 7 innings today. And then it's really the power back into the bullpen. I think Game 4, they're going to have to be heavily relying on the bullpen. So if they can score some runs and really just... And the bullpen completely works, everything goes perfectly, then maybe they can somehow put together a Game 4 and possibly even a Game 5. Now, offense has been a huge concern. 17 strikeouts and 62 at-bats in the series. That's a huge concern. And in total for them, notable numbers, d'Arnaud 1 for 8, Yandy Diaz 0 for 8, who, huge reason why they won the wild card game, and Kevin Kiermaier 1 for 7. Those are just examples of offensive players that are struggling for them. So they need to get the offense going. They need to do more on offense. They can't get by on 3 runs in 2 games. They need to score more. And Greinke, as good as he is not a Cole or a Verlander, is not, say, one of the very best, if not the 2 best pitchers in baseball. And then Game 4, it'll be significantly easier to score runs, potentially. So we'll see there. So the Rays are still in it. The series is not over yet. So now I want to move on to Yankees versus Twins. So Yankees Twins. That's an interesting series. So things I want to mention in the series. So the Yankees have outscored the Twins 18-6 in the series, which in 2 games they won 10-4 and then 8-2. So the Yankees have been dominant in this series. Really, and what it is it's been the walks. They've walked 16 times, which again, those walks have turned into doubles or home runs. And that has accounted for those runs. They've had base runners pretty much all the time throughout the series. If you're a Twins starter or even a reliever, high stress innings, having to work very hard to get outs, which is very hard to win a series. They had to work hard, and the Yankees seemed like every at bat they were in it. Seemed like every at bat was a good at bat for the Yankees. And again, hitting 297 as a team. So again, getting on base a lot. That's not counting the walks. So it'd be interesting to see what their total on base percentage is in the series. I should have saw it if you're counting all the walks and then the hits. Probably well over 400, maybe even close to 500 in that matter. And really, game 2 was game 1. Polanco hits that home run. I think the Twins are up as much as 3-1. And you have Barrios on the mound. Maybe you can somehow steal game 1 in Yankee Stadium. That doesn't happen. Game's broken open. Ends up being 10-4. Game 2, it's 3-0. Didi Gregorius hits a grand slam. That's it. And all of a sudden, the entire air for the Twins. And in that series, you know they're almost certainly going to be down 0-2 now. And just like that, you thought there was any question they were going to win this series, whether it was potentially in game 1. They're now down 0-2, going back to Minnesota. And this is a Yankees team that just looks much better offensively. Their pitching's done much better, especially starting pitching, and of course the bullpen. They've allowed just 6 runs in the entire series, while the Twins have allowed 18. The Twins have been overmatched offensively. And just to read notable numbers, I think the Yankees' best hitters in the series so far have been DJ LeMahieu, had a great game 1, hit a home run. I think he hit a 3-run home run. I think he also hit a double that drove in a run. And then Edwin Encarnacion has had 2 doubles, is 4 for 9 in the series. Seems like he's getting a hit in every at bat. And then Aaron Judge, 3 for 6, but with 4 walks. Just the entire, that's the Yankees lineup for you. Seems like every hitter they have in their lineup is a threat. And a threat really to hit a home run. It just doesn't stop. And this has been a huge problem for them. Starters Jose Barrios and Randy Dubnyk combined for just 6 innings, including Dubnyk only went 2. And then was out of the game really by the 3rd inning. And here's another thing. Interesting stat. The home run total. The Twins hit 307 home runs and the Yankees hit 306 in the regular season. Yet the interesting thing about the home run totals is it's 3-3. It's 3-3, so maybe balls aren't flying out of the park like you expected. Yet it's a series. Despite that, I think the biggest difference is, I remember when Polanco and Cruz hit those home runs. I think they're both solo home runs in game 1. When the Yankees had runners, think about the Didi grand slam. That was 4 runs right there. That made it a 3-0 game into 7-0. I think LeMahieu hit a 3-run home run, if I'm not mistaken. So when the Yankees hit their home runs, they count for more. One biggest reason why is walks. All the walks, really, in the series have contributed to extra runs the Yankees have scored. So that has been the big difference so far. And notable Twins hitters. You think about all their players hit 30 home runs in the regular season. Interesting number. Mitch Garver, 2 for 9. 0 home runs, 33 in the regular season. Eddie Rosario is 1 for 9. 0 home runs, 32 in the regular season. Sano, 1 for 8 with 6 strikeouts. Yes, he did hit a home run. I think it was in game 2. Yet, 34 home runs in the regular season. And then Kepler, 0 for 6, hits 36 in the regular season. So the Twins have a lot of power hitters, and they're just not hitting home runs. Granted, they have 3, and so the Yankees. And maybe it's not quite the home run slugfest we thought it was going to be, but I thought this series, so far, they might have a 10-12 game, or 15 to, or whatever, 8-7, or a game where you might see 10 home runs combined or whatever. It's been the Yankees. It's been the Yankees. They're outplaying the Twins in every way. Obviously, their bullpen has been much better than the Twins' bullpen, who had to come in and relieve Barrios, who just really struggled to get through. I mean, didn't allow that many runs, but just the Yankees made them work. They're making every pitcher work. No pitchers are cruising through innings. You know, you look at those series in the National League with the Braves and Cardinals, where they have very efficient starting pitching. And you see what I just talked about with the Astros, and even National Dodgers starting pitching. Really, and you saw what Strasburg did. You've seen nothing close to that in this series. No starting pitching, especially the Twins. Can't go anywhere in the game. And so that's been the big difference. Hitting. Sure, the Yankees have won the series 18-6. Are you kidding me? And then starting pitching. The Yankees starters have at least can be somewhat efficient. Tanaka and Paxton combined to pitch 9 2/3 innings. So, again, about 50-50 between bullpen and starting rotation for them. But still, that's been the advantage the Yankees have had in the Twins. In Game 1, there was some doubt whether they would win. Certainly thought that. Having a lead with Barrios on the mound. And in Game 2, there was never really a time where I thought the Twins were going to win. Especially when that D home run, that was it. In this series, the Twins in Target Field, they need to hit home runs. And really what they need is base runners. They need home runs and base runners. And they have Jake Odorizzi on the mound tonight. They need a good starting pitching outing tonight. They need to win that since Game 4, we don't know who's starting. Game 4 might be one of those games that's just a slugfest. Whoever outslugs each other wins. Really, so again, they don't have the starting pitching to win. They cannot rely on that. They also don't have a great bullpen like the Rays. So the Twins need to have one of those games where they're in control basically the entire time. Where they need to win. Maybe they need to win this game 8-2 or whatever. And then Game 5, 4 will probably be a slugfest, but they need to hit more home runs. And they really need more base runners. That's the biggest thing. If they want to win this series, and as of right now on the American League side, it's looking very likely to be Yankees-Astros. And nothing would really tell me otherwise that it should be Rays-Twins. We just haven't seen any moments where we thought those would be the two teams. And that seems very unlikely. And really for baseball in general, Yankees-Astros is a much better series than, say, Twins-Rays. I mean, I'm sorry, you have New York and Houston, two of the best teams in the league, in two huge markets with a lot of very talented players, where Twins-Rays, again, two small markets and two not very well known teams this year. I mean, you look at the players on each roster and they will not be nationally recognized. As say, guys who are on the Astros and the Yankees. I mean, if you're a casual baseball fan, you may not have much interest in this series, a potential Twins-Rays series. So it's very likely to be Yankees-Astros unless something develops over the next few days. And come Friday morning, when I'm talking about the American League, could be talking about the American League Championship Series. That's really what's going to take. And if we need to see things that change, you know, the trends that we saw for the Twins and for the Astros, for the Twins, that's going against them, and for the Rays that's going against them, they need to change if they want to win the series. They have to change. And really, the only way for the Yankees to lose the series is if their pitching disappears. And then all of a sudden the Twins starting pitching comes back. So really, the Twins really need to complete reverse role. They need to completely reverse what has happened in Game 1. They need to be the Yankees in games today, I think. And then they're going to need the offense to show up the rest of the series if they want to have any shot at winning the series. So that's it for Yankees-Astros. and for the ALDS, we'll come right back and make a video on the NLDS.